guys, gals, non-binary pals, GM Potter here, and today we will be going over another banned book for this banned book week, Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, which came out in 1953. The first time I read this, I was in about 6th grade. I got it from a friend of my brother's who was staying with us at the time. I was interested in reading it after an episode of the Disney show, The Famous Jet Jackson. If y'all remember that show, it was amazing. Talked about it being a banned book, and this was the first time I'd been introduced to the concept of someone banning a book outside of, Nazis in World War II with their book burnings, and I thought it was just such a radical, horrible concept that I had to know why this book was banned. And I read it, and honestly I was a little disappointed. Like, it's a good book, it's well written, but I didn't see anything that made it worth banning. So let's get into it. Where has this book been banned? Well, it was banned during the South African apartheid between the 50s and the 70s, for the entire time from when it was published through the end of the 70s. For the main character rebels against authoritarianism, and that was seen as sort of insurrectionalist. It was also banned in classrooms for vulgarity, notably in 1992. Verado Middle School in Irvine, California gave blacked out copies to their students where words and entire passages had been marked through with like a magic marker, so they couldn't read it. Additionally, the publisher released censored copies of the book and did so until Ray Bradbury got involved and was like, hey, what are you doing? This book is at its essence about censorship. Why are you censoring the book? Like, they changed words. Like, for instance, one of the most famous examples is the drunk man became the sick man. Entire passages were removed. Incidents were changed. They're now called revised copies. Like, they're not censorship copies. They're not, but that's essentially what they are. So if you want to read it, look for an edition that says Ray Bradbury or complete and unabridged. Or at least one that doesn't say revised. And also in 2006, it was challenged here in Texas, in Montgomery County, for a depiction of burning the Bible and its violence, portrayal of Christians, and depictions of firemen. It was challenged during Banned Book Week. Yes, during Banned Book Week, the parents of a school here in Texas tried to ban a book. They petitioned the school board to ban the book. It didn't get banned. It just got challenged. But come on, guys, read the room. Like, you knew it was coming up on the syllabus. It's not like it was a surprise. It came up on the syllabus. The child was reading it, and the child was horrified by the burning of the Bible. Well, yeah, they're burning all the books. They're not burning the Bible, not the Quran. They're burning everything. Like, literally every book is what they're burning. Like, that's kind of the point, is in this universe the firemen start the fires and they work on behalf of the government to get everyone to switch to TV and radio and like bad things, and it's control, and free thought is dangerous. And it makes me giggle, but at the same time it makes me very frustrated that someone would try to ban a book during Banned Books Week. Like, that's just kind of, it's a little too on the nose, I think. So, who are our main characters? We've got Guy Montag. He is a fireman. He starts the book fires. He's a very by the book, kind of guy. He basically follows the authorities blindly and does what he's told. Basically, until he meets Clarice McClellan, he never thinks to ask why. Clarice McClellan has been, more recently, since the term has come into the parlance, been called a manic pixie dream girl, and I 1000% agree with this description of her. She's weird. She's not like the other girls. She asks why instead of how, and she's interested in nature instead of technology, and she's just got that very much r/not like the other girls vibe going on. That she's also underage, and the fact that Montag is very much in love with her when he meets her when she's a month shy of 17, meaning she's 16, when he meets her, is kind of creepy. Like, the whole book is a little creepy in its in the way our main character views women. Like, he talks about, he it's told from his point of view. It's not narrated by him, but it's told from his point of view. He discusses his wife Millie, who cares about TV and radio and status quo more than she cares about him, as her hair being burned by chemicals and as skinny as straw, and she's very much beauty standards incarnate. There's a scene, spoiler warning and content warning, where she takes a sleeping pill. Supposedly, forget she took the sleeping pill, takes another, and another, and another, and another, until the bottle is empty. That scene in the book, bear in mind, I read this when I was in 6th grade, made me terrified of sleeping pills, because I thought that was just something that happened when you took sleeping pills. I didn't understand that it was her trying to commit suicide to get out of her miserable life, and to get away from her husband, and to get away from this universe where she's unhappy and unfulfilled. Like, that didn't click in my brain. I just thought that if you took sleeping pills, they messed with your mind because you got so sleepy, but you couldn't fall asleep, that you'd overdose, and then they'd have to come and pump your stomach, and you might live and you might not. And I don't take sleeping pills. I don't take ZzzQuil. I don't take NyQuil unless I'm very, very sick. Because I am terrified that I'm going to forget that I took it and take too much and not wake up. Like, that part of this book kind of scarred me a little bit. Not to be over dramatic, but it's, especially when you're, 12, 11, it's a very scarring thing, because I hadn't really come across that sort of content in what I'd read before. Like, not written in such loving detail as Ray Bradbury goes into. The last main character we have is Captain Beatty, or Captain Beatty, Betty. I'm not sure. It's Beatty. I always read it as Beatty, but I've heard other people call him Beatty, and some people call him Betty, so I don't know. I always go with Beatty. Like the robot from the old 70s TV show Beatty. That's just where my brain goes. He is our main antagonist. He's Montag's boss. He's the fire chief, basically. Fire captain. He is authoritarianism incarnate. He encapsulates and embodies the system. There's a big confrontation towards the end of the book that's just, it deserves to be an action movie. I know they made a movie semi-recently, but I didn't see it because the other version of the book that came out didn't look good, and this one didn't look good either. Let me know if you've seen any of the movies they've made of Fahrenheit 451. There's also a play, which Ray Bradbury wrote and changed scenes and stuff for. But yeah, that's our main characters. I don't want to get into the plot too much because, A, you either know the plot very, very well because you were forced to read this in high school, or college, like most of us, or you haven't read it and you are in for a bit of a treat, I would say. There's so much in this book that is that makes it worth reading, despite the statutory creepiness of it, and despite the heavy-handed, ham-fisted of it that for the message. It's actually very well written. I very much like Ray Bradbury. I Sing the Body Electric as one of his short story collections is one of my favorite books. It's very good. If you haven't read it, please go read that. Ray Bradbury does not get as much love as he deserves. Most people read this book and judge his entire catalog based on this one book, and this one isn't as good as The Martian Chronicles. It isn't as good as The Illustrated Man. It isn't as good as I Sing the Body Electric. It's just not as good as those. And it deserves some love too. So, have you read Fahrenheit 451? What did you think? What did your high school history teacher teach you to think? What do you think about the book? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!